Let's begin where and when you were born.
September the 19th, 1923,
And where were you born?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Brown, Elliott County.
So what year did you come to Carroll County?
World War II. You know, the beginning of the war, they was asking for people to go to work on the shipyards. That's where I wound up in the shipyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you come to Carroll County? Did you move to Taneytown when you came to Carroll County?
No, Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Curtis Bay there in the Brooklyn area. We've spent years in there, yeah.
Okay.
Because I was close to shipyards, you know.
So what year did you start your service in? Were you in the Army?
Army, engineers,
And what year?
1940.
And could you tell me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Could you tell me about your service, your training?
Well, I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, and they shipped me from there to Fort Lewis, Washington on a train. 7 days and 4 nights or something like that. We had a long time getting, of course, as we was pulling over all freight. Troop transport didn't have no problem with nothing. Freight was that was the head of everything. Tanks, guns, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Can you tell me how long your training took place?
I think about 9 weeks.
And where did you go after there?
Come back to Boston, Massachusetts on the train, another train. 7 days and 4 nights, something like that. And boarded the ship and went to Glasgow, Scotland. And from there, my company was already there in Salisbury. Of course, we went into Glasgow was just part of the deal, you know. And they sent trucks out from Salisbury and picked us up and took us into Salisbury, and we was there for training for I don't know how long, quite a while, 8 or 9 months, something like that, before we hit the beach.
Tell me about your experience hitting the beach.
Well, I know I was pretty sick when I got off the ship. Seasick, you know. But we got off and without any problem, and headed up around to France.
What part of the beach, which beach did you land on?
Omaha Beach. Yeah. Omaha Beach, we just pulled in there. We stayed overnight, that's about all, and we got right off. Mm-hmm. In fact, we was on the Victor ship, and they were on the boat right up on the land. We was on the ship, and they just ran the bow of the ship right up on the sandbar, and then we walked right off.
So you didn't have any casualties?
No. So far, we didn't.
And then after you landed on Omaha Beach, where did you go from there?
Well, we went up through, I guess, somewhere in the neighborhood of St. Lo. Hawkins, St. Lo, St. Severs, St. Bernard, and then from there, from Hawkins, we went into, from Salisbury, we went into Germany, Aachen, and that was a pretty rough battle too.
Which battle was that?
Battle of Aachen, that's a German first town, and they wasn't going to give it up easy. Otherwise, we had the 90th Infantry Division, the 29th, 78th, I don't know how many divisions trying to take Auckland, but we got it. Yeah,
So as you traveled through France,
yeah.
did you come face to face with the enemy? Did you have to have combat with the enemy, or
Oh, well, we was in combat with her all the time. All the time we was in front, we was in the combat with the front. That's part of it. Because there wasn't nobody behind us but us. Of course, now that we had a 2nd Armored Division, the 90th Infantry Division, 78th, the 3rd Army. We had plenty of help, but it was still a little shaky, yeah.
so how long were you in France? Were you there for several months?
I got discharged from France. I didn't get discharged. I got sent back to the state and got discharged. The war was over with, yeah. See, we got out on points. On points, so many points, you automatically out of the Army at that time. So I had 4, and I didn't get out. I wasn't the first one, but I was near the top, yeah.
Can you tell me about any of the men in your unit that you established a special bond with?
With what?
A special connection and special friendship with? Any men in your unit that you became close with throughout your time in Europe? Anyone in particular that you were close with, that you shared a special bond?
No, not really. Mostly whoever's in the outfit, that's the only thing. We didn't get to fraternize with too much people. You know, they didn't allow that. Because we were pushing for the front, you know. Yeah.
So you were in a battle in Germany, and how long did that battle take place?
Aachen?
Yes.
Aachen was the first town we hit from Speckhole-Holland, Holland. Well, we pulled patrols across the German lines, I don't know, maybe once a week. Of course, everybody, we was all going across the German lines. It wasn't nothing but a barbed wire fence and a blacktop road, and you was in Germany with Speckhole-Holland. And we went into Aachen, and finally took Aachen, yeah.
And what did you do after that battle? What occurred after that battle? Was that the last battle that you had to fight in?
Well, we just pushed on.
And
Come to, well, we came into Magdeburg, Speckhole-Holland, then we got on the German Autobahn, and we headed into Berlin. And of course, the war was pretty well over with when we was going to Berlin, yeah.
tell me about Berlin. What did you see there, and what was your experience in Berlin?
Just a bombed up place. Wasn't too much left of it, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Did you come face to face with any of the German soldiers?
Oh, plenty of them, yeah. Oh, the whole Autobahn was covered with German soldiers coming this way, coming surrendering, you know. Oh, yeah. And in fact, the civilians, we got acquainted with some of the civilians in there running restrooms. And the lady that they fed us. She asked me how many eggs I wanted, and I held up 2 fingers. She fried me 2 eggs, glass of milk, because they had cows, you know, and just stuff like that. That went on all the time, yeah. A lot of stuff you just don't think. You think later, but right at the present time, it's hard to concentrate on what was the next day, you know. Yeah.
Do you have anything that you would like to share with me that really stands out in your memory of the war? Any experiences?
The whole thing. we didn't, not really. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the countryside of Germany? Was it, I mean, was it all landscaped like in a countryside, and then you went from town to town, and they were like bombed out, or?
At this, when we went in town, we went through the plains, Saint Germain, all them towns was just flattened from our plane. We'd sit and watch maybe 100 airplanes go over bombers, and we know where they was going. They all heading to Germany, somewhere in Germany, that town was going to get tore up. Yeah.
Did you see any concentration camps when you were in Germany?
Yeah.
Can you please explain your experience of the concentration?
We ran into some Polish concentration camp, and we freed them, and a whole lot of cremation was going on while in Germany, because they didn't have no place to bury them. They just like to burn them, you know, put them in the oven. Oh yeah.
Do you remember which concentration camp you went to?
No, we didn't. Never remember nothing like that. We just probably went straight through it. Yeah.
And I'm sure it was very shocking to see.
Yeah. It was shocking from the first start. So next day it didn't make no difference to us, because we was there every day. Yeah.
Do you have anything that you would like to share with me regarding your experience of World War II?
Not really no more what I told you. Yeah.
So what year did you come back to the United States?
45.
And at that time, how old were you?
19.
And what did you do when you
I was 19 when I went in the Army. No, I come out, I was in 2 years, 6 months, 14 days, I was in the Army. Yeah.
And so when you returned, what was life like for you?
Well, almost just another day, that's all. You know, you can't place every day because everybody's glad to see you and all this kind of stuff, you know. You're glad to be back. What else you gonna do?
Did you go back to Kentucky?
Yeah.
And how long were you in Kentucky for?
Well, I got married. And we moved back to Kentucky. But we didn't stay too long, because she had a sister here in Dundalk, Baltimore, and my wife wanted to come to Baltimore. So, okay, if you're ready to go, we'll go. We just packed up and caught the train and back to Baltimore we came, Dundalk.
So when did you move to Carroll County?
Carroll, I don't know. I just got acquainted with somebody.
Did you come to Tawnytown? Is that where you started?
No.
Okay. Tell me about your life in Carroll County.
Life in Carroll County?
Yes.
It's been pretty good. Pretty nice life, yeah.
So where do you live in Carroll County now?
Tawnytown.
And that's where you've been ever since you moved to Carroll County? When you came to Carroll County, have you been in Tawnytown the whole time, or did you move
Well,
elsewhere?
I'm there with my brothers, with my daughter. No, we had, trying to figure out, we was in Brooklyn and, you know, Curtis Bay area, and we finally moved out to Carroll County with my daughter and son-in-law. Yeah.
So tell me what you like about Carroll County.
Pretty nice county. Yeah, if I had not have left.
Do you live like on a farm or?
It's a small place. I think we got about 7 or 8 head of cattle and 10 or 12 acres of land, and that's it. Yeah.
And tell me about your community. Do you are you involved with your community?
Not too often much, no. Whatever we really, it just seemed like to me we had too much to do to get out and get in the community, more or less. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, do you have like any events or annual events that you like to get involved in Carroll County, like the 4-H fair or anything like that?
No, we never. Yeah. I hardly ever went to a fair. All of us had something to do.
Well, tell us what you had to do.
Well, we had something. My wife, she had things planned out. We had to go to other places with her. You know what I mean? And then I always raised the gardener, working in the garden, or working this, building fence. We was strictly out on the farm, you know. Yeah.
And do you have grandchildren who live in Carroll County?
Oh yeah.
And tell me about them.
Well, my daughter's born here. Got a granddaughter in Seattle, and got a granddaughter and a grandson in Spokane, and I got them scattered everywhere. Got 11 grandchildren, and ain't none of them hardly with us. They gone, you know.
So, when you came to Carroll County, did you find work here?
Oh yeah, I was working in D.C. all the time.
And what did you do?
Just, well, I bought a house on Baptist Road, and from there I went to D.C. to work. All over D.C., Alexander, Fairfax, wherever the company would send me, you know. Balmer. I was working in Balmer a while. From there, the company would send me somewhere else. Yeah.
So how do you feel about Carroll County today? Has it changed quite a lot since you've moved here?
I don't say it's changed too much, no. It's about the same thing. Of course, I don't know how much changed it is. I don't get in that part. Other parts I get in. Yeah.
Okay.
About the same thing.
Do you have family that comes and visits you from outside the county?
Feel good?
Do you have family that will come to visit
Family?
you? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, not too many, but I don't have too many families here. I had them at Dundalk, and they come out and stay overnight, stuff like that, you know what I mean. But mostly we're out there by ourselves.
Now, after the war, did you stay in touch with anyone from your unit?
Oh, yeah.
Could you tell me about them?
Hard to say. One of them two-year-old from Blair High. He wasn't back here too long till he passed away. Just stuff like that. I thought friends, I wouldn't know, somebody call and tell me so-and-so passed away. You know what I mean? And here I am still kicking.
As you look back on your experience of the war, what is it that you want us to remember what you went through? I mean, what is it that you'd like to share with us that you would like for us to remember?
On me to tell you what the ship ride was the roughest I had on a victory ship. Going across the Atlantic in January. I mean, that waves was taller than the ship was. of course, I didn't get out of bunk for about 7 days. My friend always go to the PX and bring me candy and crackers and kept me alive. Then some of them go to get the food. Of course, food didn't go with me because you've been so sick and weak, you just couldn't eat straight food. You had crackers or something that very seldom you drunk anything. That's the way it went. What with me anyway? They left me on the ship for 7 days before they moved me when we got to Scotland. They didn't move me. And finally, I kind of come to, and I got out on the deck, and they had a ship we had fruit from Seattle, Washington, Seattle. Fruit, apples. I looked down, and I seen the longshoremen down there. They'd drop a bucket, drop a carton of apples like this, and they all, hey, if they can do that, I can just go out here and bust me a crate. And I started eating apples, and I began to come out of it. Yeah.
So how do you feel about the war? I mean, what are your thoughts about World War II? Are you glad you served, or, you know?
I'm glad I served, yeah. It's something you'll never forget. It's stuff you just be thinking sometime, yeah, I was there, you know what I mean? Somebody was, you always helping somebody wounded or something, you know, yeah.
And did you receive medals?
Yeah, I had a pretty good chest full of them.
Why don't you tell us what type of medals you received?
Well, most of all good conduct medals, you know. I got home, my son, they liked the looks of them medals, you know. And I had them in a bag, so the next thing I know, he had them all. I don't even have any of them now. They all disappeared.
Does he have them like in a case, or?
No.
Okay.
I had them all loose. Yeah, I had them and put them. I finally put some of them in the case, but they got away too. Grandchildren, always want to see it, and they noticed where they was at, so they just go get them. That's the way it went.
Can you tell me what type of medals you received?
Well, I didn't get no Purple Heart. just a good conduct medals, that's all, you know. Yeah, and overseas medal and certain battle medals for the battles, and all was in, you know. Oh yeah.
Can you tell me anything specific about the battles? I mean, anything that really stands out in your mind that you'd like to share, anything.
I didn't know I was there. That's about it. Yeah. Oh yeah, you when you move, you dug a foxhole pretty fast from going one place to another. You get down there, you end up on the ground too much. If you're on patrol, you're out in front, and the main body, the man is behind you. Then you have a contact man in between them and up. When I run in the enemy, if it's night or day, we always had a signal. And that went on till we got Berlin. Yeah.
Did you meet any of the French civilians? Did they
Oh, plenty
greet
of
you?
them.
And
Yeah,
I'm sure that they were
Plenty of them.
very thrilled.
We ate more of the apples and more tomatoes. And I made ever since, because they coming with apples, peaches, everything for us to eat. I was on the truck, and they were almost hanging on the truck, giving it to us. Oh, yeah.
So they were very grateful you were there.
Oh, yeah. They were a great bunch. Yeah. Holland was the same way. Belgium was, they was good too. Oh, Belgium, Holland, it's all good. Yeah.
And then in Germany, some of the civilians greeted you with
Yeah,
food. And
in a way, I was in a German restaurant. We stayed in a restaurant. And we slept over in the corner, and this old lady, she fed us. Yeah, she's good one, just like my mother. So when we got ready to leave, she had a sandwich and everything ready. She was to Germany. So I had a whole pocket full of German marks. I mean, German prisoners, when they had marks, we just took them all, put them in the pocket. I don't know how many dollars I had in German marks in my hand, in my pockets, you know. So I just pulled a whole handful out and handed it to her. And I thought she was going to kiss me. She almost. And so we left out of there. Yeah, stuff like that. It happened every day.
tell me about the weather that you had to endure.
Well, the weather was about like this here. Rain, shower, a lot of times it rained for a week. And showers, hard showers, and sometimes it's pretty stormy, yeah. But it didn't make no difference to us. We moved anyway. Oh, yeah.
And you were there through the winter as well?
The winter, the Aachen, in Aachen, there were full below zero, and you out in it. And we were staying in a little town down in Germany, in the warm, and I was pulling patrol up about a mile from our at a road intersection in the night. And I heard something coming through our gas cans, the bones was kicking and knocking. And I stepped in behind the tree because I was ready to blow them apart. Stepped in behind the tree and who stemmed out a mentally retarded woman. Yeah. And she was talking to herself, and I could tell something was wrong, you know. So I stepped up the side of a tree, and the MPs, they patrol the road all the time, up so far and then turn back. And she come up, I tapped her on the side of the head. I took my whammed the woman, stood up the side of a tree, and she stayed there. MPs come by, and I stopped them, and I said, hey, I got a woman over here, and something's wrong with her. Oh, yeah. She said, they said, I've been looking for her. Her family has been looking for her for 3 or 4 days. Now, she's been outside in 3 row weather. Cold, too, brother. Yeah. So, said, bring her out when they had a destination so far up the road, and then to turn around and come back. And they picked her up and took her back to her family. They said her family was really tickled to death to get her, because she was mentally retarded anyway, you know. Yeah. And I always felt good I didn't shoot her. But I got called up over it. Oh, yeah. I was on guard, and my company commander sent word for me to come to headquarters. Well, to headquarters, I went, and he stood me at the tent, but he went around me. He said, never let it happen again. I said, I hope it never will. So, stuff like that, you know. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So I was kind of on the glad side that I never did shoot the old girl too, and because I had plenty excuse to do it, but I didn't do it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today. I'm so grateful you're here to be able to talk to us, and
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add as we close?
No more in the war, it's over with. Yeah,
And thank you so much for your service.
thank you. Of course, there was a lot of stuff that I'd have to think for a while before it happened, you know. And it's not everything in there. I told you something, maybe I thought about it when I wake up in the bed. You wake up in the bed and you're still fighting the war. I come out and my wife, I'd almost beat her to death. I wake up in a fight and I'm in bed, I come down this pipe. That went on for a long time. And finally I kept working till she could tell when I got restless. And I was restless for a long time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
But I finally got over it.
and you had support here through your family and
Yeah.
loved ones.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And that helped.
yeah. Stuff like that. Of course, you think you're there. You wonder what they're doing back home, your mother and your dad and everybody doing, you know. And you could just imagine where they went on Sunday. They all went to church on Sunday. You know, you think this in your head yourself. Yeah. But it wound up pretty good. I made it through, still here.
Well, you fought for freedom.
Yep. 91, be 92 in September.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
My mother lived to be 102 and 14 days.
Well, you might pass her.
She passed away too. Yeah. My father, he passed away at 77. An earlier date, you know. Of course, I was somewhere overseas, some of them is old. I hardly ever seen any of them, you know. They asked me if I wanted to go home, and I said, no, forget it. I said, if we go, I just have to turn around and come back, and I don't want that either. Because I know when I get there, it'd be hard to leave. And the best is just stay right where you're at. And that's what I done. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.